Hey everybody, so we are less than 24 hours before the relaunch of MultiVersus. It launches tomorrow at 7 a.m. EST, my time anyway, and it's going to relaunch a little later on PC. I'll probably be streaming the relaunch, going into the game and everything tomorrow early in the morning, so yeah, less than 24 hours away. Very exciting since this game has been on hiatus for, the past year or so, so I'm super excited to get to finally be able to play it again. A ton has happened for this game in the speculation scene over the last week, as a lot of information has come out, and they've really just been hyping up the game in this last final week span before relaunch. So this video is going to get you caught up on everything speculation-wise right before the game actually launches. So I'll go over everything in the last, week or so that's happened for MultiVersus. So let's start off and kind of do it semi-chronologically here and go back before we got the new launch trailer and talk about the leaks and stuff that happened in the lead-up to that, and then we'll talk about the launch trailer, and then everything that's happened since then up until, relaunch here. Okay, so like a week ago, MultiVersus announced that they were going to have a launch trailer. It was MultiVersus' official launch trailer, Stars Collide, Pies Fly. And the great thing with this one was that it was a live reveal launch trailer. So this was not just posted on Twitter for us to all click at different times and stuff. This was actually, live on YouTube, the way I think we've all wanted character reveals and new information to get dropped for these sorts of games. So I'm very happy that MultiVersus is finally doing live reveals so we can all stream it and get hyped and watch it all at the same time. It's just the right way to do this sort of thing. So in the lead up to that launch trailer, there were a bunch of leaks. I mean, this game has just been plagued with leaks, though some of which feel almost like maybe Player First Games are doing them on purpose. Like, we had the Scooby-Doo model shown in that NHL Hockey League collab thing. The Powerpuff Girls showed up in Joker's gameplay trailer on Batman's computer. That one obviously feels intentional. Banana Guard leaked right before we got Banana Guard showed off, and that was kind of like if you just pause the video at the right moment, you could just see him. So I'm curious how many of these are intentional from Player First Games and how many are actual leaks. Leaks, of course, create headlines. Leaks create a lot of hype. Us fans, especially myself here, get very excited about leaks and, rumors and things like that. So I don't think it's a bad marketing idea to kind of lean into the whole leak scene. Anyway, in the lead up to this launch trailer, we, of course, had Jason data mined from a previous trailer in, the string of code. But right before the launch trailer happened, a few hours beforehand, actually an image of Jason appeared online. So here it is showing up on Twitter from Fumo Leaks, and it's breaking. First image of Jason Voorhees in MultiVersus, and he looks very large next to Joker. I will say he actually is scaled down in the actual game, but this was the first leaked image that was floating around the internet right before that launch trailer. Everyone was saying he's really, really huge here. People were really commenting on the size of Jason here, though I will again say that when we've actually seen him now, he is scaled down. There's a picture of him next to the Joker in official footage that we've seen, and yeah, he's more scaled down. Some people have pointed out that, Jason wears a hockey mask, and we had that whole hockey collab that felt very random for MultiVersus, so maybe, this was just, the timing was a little off. I know we had, a McDonald's promotion for MultiVersus a few months back, which feels a little, off with the timing of when the game is actually launching, so maybe they thought they'd have the game launching earlier, maybe they thought Jason would be revealed a little earlier, and that NHL collab thing they had would make a little more sense, because they'd have Jason with the hockey mask collabing with NHL hockey thing, I don't know. It's just a theory. And Jason was not the only character to leak right before this launch trailer. Over on Twitter, Asil wrote, Agent Smith will be part of the MultiVersus relaunch. This was confirmed by the tags on the new MultiVersus trailer releasing tomorrow, which is about 3 minutes long. So what happened was the actual YouTube video for the MultiVersus launch trailer popped up on YouTube with, just you could sit there and wait for it to actually launch hours later or whatever. But by using things like Inspect Element, very simple things, you could look at the tags for the video. And in the tags for the video was Agent Smith and The Matrix. So this wasn't any kind of really deep data mining, hacking stuff at all. This is just looking at the tags on a YouTube video, which is very easy for anyone to do. So yeah, once again, I'm unsure if Player First Games is intentionally leaking stuff out or intentionally creating hype through that, but this was a very simple one to avoid. Just tag the video after it goes live, not beforehand. This, of course, wouldn't be the first time that something has leaked through YouTube like this. If you recall back in Smash Speculation, we had that Bloody Tears song, that's the Castlevania song, leak out right before Simon Belmont got revealed. So yeah, YouTube stuff can sometimes leak video game characters and platform fighting characters. So yeah, Agent Smith basically leaked a little early because of these YouTube tags. A few days later, MultiVersus put out a Weirdo in a Mask Jason Voorhees gameplay trailer. And in the YouTube tags for that trailer before it went live, they actually wrote, "Get out of our code, stop leaking our stuff, yo." So obviously fully aware that the Agent Smith thing leaked from the YouTube tags. Again, just be more careful, player first games. I hate to say it, but that one's kind of totally on you guys, unless it was intentional, because YouTube tags are not a hard thing for the fans to be able to look at. So going forward in the future, yeah, tag the videos after the fact. Otherwise, everything's going to leak this way. There was an interview with Tony where he said, MultiVersus director says, data miners do a disservice to the players by revealing characters before they're officially announced. They don't get the grand reveal that we have planned, and a lot of the air is sucked out of the room. Which, shockingly enough, I do sympathize with this sentiment. I do understand that, people getting things leaked early does spoil things and does, lessen the impact of a character reveal. However, I'll also say on the flip side, I think you do want your game to have a fan base that's rabid enough to want to know the characters so badly that they'll look anywhere to do so. So I do always think that the, leak and speculation game is a back and forth between the fan base and, the developers. The developers really need to hide stuff as best as possible from the fan base, and the fan base is going to try as hard as they can to figure stuff out because they're such rabid fans. I think this creates hype. I think speculation is healthy for a game. I just think that, the developers do have to play defense to the fans. I think that is the healthy way to do it. I don't think fans are just going to idly sit back and say, okay, we'll close our eyes, we'll plug our ears. It's never going to happen that way. So the developers really do have to, again, play defense on this sort of thing. If one data miner goes away, another one is going to show up in his place. It's like a Hydra, like it's never going to go away. So developers need to use code names, encrypt their files, not tag YouTube videos early if they don't intend that. Don't put Banana Guard's image in a trailer for a split second. Stuff like that, guys. You have to play defense against the fans because the fans do want to know this stuff. And trust me, it's better to have the fans wanting to know the characters very badly than it is to have fans who don't really care. So, I don't know. Play defense, guys. It is a back and forth. Again, I sympathize, but we got to play this both ways. Now, all that said, I was someone who knew about Agent Smith before the YouTube tags, and I didn't say anything about him. I did put in my last MultiVersus video an image that showed a bunch of Matrix characters because I was talking about Matrix characters. And I actually photoshopped away Cypher from the cover of the movie and put in Agent Smith just so I could mention him alongside Neo, Morpheus, and Trinity because I knew Agent Smith was coming and I wanted to just mention that character. So, yeah, I didn't like that one. That one got leaked by YouTube tags, but I did know about Agent Smith, so again, guys, you gotta play defense against the people who are gonna look at the YouTube tags and stuff like that, because not everybody who maybe hears about these characters early are gonna be nice and not say something outright about it. I will also add, before the YouTube tags, I had no idea Agent Smith was going to be in that launch trailer. I just knew Agent Smith was going to be a character eventually. So again, the reveal order of characters, the when for these characters, I don't know, I've just heard names. Okay, so now that launch trailer was actually extremely interesting because it had a lot of hints towards potential future characters, stages, lots of things that will probably show up in MultiVersus at some point. So let's go over all the Easter eggs and minor details that were in that launch trailer. So the trailer started off with the WB Warner Brothers logo, and they had it transform into lots of different Warner Brothers logos. I believe these were just from mostly newer movies, though some were a little bit older, but I think they were just showing that WB owns so many different franchises. Though these could be hints at, again, future characters or future things that could show up in MultiVersus. So here are what all of those WB logos that we saw actually represent, what movies they're actually from. The first one was from Suicide Squad 2021. The second one was from Black Adam 2022. The third one was from Wonder Woman 1984 2020. The fourth one was from Scooby-Doo 2002. The fifth one appears to be The Matrix, though I don't think The Matrix actually used this particular WB logo, but it has that, Matrix quality to it. The sixth one was from Shazam! Fury of the Gods 2023, and the final one was from Blue Beetle 2023. The trailer then opens on the WB Water Tower, which is most likely a future stage. There were data mines for that, so the WB Water Tower stage happening. And there are Pinky and the Brain, like hot air balloons in the background of the stage, which I believe is something that's going to be on the stage. I've been saying that for over a year now. Also in the background, though, is the Acme Laboratory from, again, Pinky and the Brain. So lots of Pinky and the Brain references on this WB Water Tower stage, which is also, of course, an Animaniacs reference in and of itself. We get a look at the Joker, and in this trailer, once again, Joker's sleeves are stitched on like I said they would probably be. Like, Joker's model in-game doesn't seem to have the stitched on sleeves, or at least they're not nearly as noticeable, but in all of these trailers, we've seen Joker's sleeves stitched on. The Joker reveal trailer and this one, both that model for the Joker that they've done in these CGI trailers has very clearly stitched on sleeves. And then there is lots of stuff in the background of this WB water tower portion of the trailer. We have a duck season poster on the water tower, one of the beams for it. Of course, that's a reference to the rabbit season, duck season, bit by Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. So potentially a nod to Daffy happening at some point for this game. In the background, there is a crashed rocket, which for a while there I thought might be a Duck Dodgers rocket, which again would be a Daffy hint, but the rocket actually looks a lot more like the rocket from Animaniacs. So I do believe this is an Animaniacs direct reference on a stage that is basically an Animaniacs reference, again, in and of itself. There are also some golf carts in the background of one part of this scene, and a lot of people I've heard saying, oh, those might be references to Regular Show. And while I do think Regular Show will probably get in MultiVersus at some point, I believe Mordecai is probably happening as a standalone character, I don't think this was actually a reference to Regular Show. I think that the golf carts here are probably just golf carts that are on the WB lot. It is a movie studio lot, and generally to drive around on a movie studio lot they use golf carts. That's very, it's like a known thing. Here's an actual image of a WB lot golf cart. They do exist in real life. So I think this was just being true to the WB stage and not actually a Regular Show reference. But hey, if you want to think it's a Regular Show reference, that's fine to do so. I don't mind that. I just personally think it was probably just a golf cart for the stage. We can also see the Adventure Time Tree Fort stage, made out of cardboard, as if it's a movie studio that, they're making movies of, and they're making an Adventure Time movie or something. I don't know why they're referencing another stage we see later. It's just kind of a cool Easter egg, but yeah, there you go. There is also an Adventure Time Tree Fort stage reference on the WB lot portion of this trailer. And then last, and definitely not least, probably the biggest hints that seem to happen at this part of the trailer, is the WB water tower door opens up, and a bunch of objects fly out of it. The objects are a trident, most likely Aquaman's trident. There is a katana that is almost certainly Samurai Jack's katana. It looks a lot like Samurai Jack's katana. And there is a octopus plushie with a little top hat that is Bubbles plushie from the Powerpuff Girls. And there is a broom. Now, the broom is a little more questionable. Could it be a broom for a Harry Potter character or a broom for potentially the Wicked Witch of the West? Both of those have been talked about as potential characters we could be getting in the future. So I'm not sure if the broom is referencing a Harry Potter character or Wicked Witch of the West. I'm leaning more towards Wicked Witch of the West, but it could really go either way for that one. Anyway, 4 very interesting objects fly out, and they all seem to reference potentially future characters. So yeah, I'm thinking definitely Powerpuff Girls, Aquaman, Samurai Jack, and then either a Harry Potter character or a Wicked Witch are probably happening fairly soon. This one seemed like the most in-your-face hint that they put in here. Okay, and then moving forward, we kind of zoom out into space, and in space you can see that kind of all the different stages appear to be their own planets or their own realms floating in space anyway, and you can see the Steven Universe Sky Arena stage in the background for a moment, but we already know about that one. We then go to the new Townsville stage, and there's some really interesting stuff in the background for that. Townsville, of course, being a Powerpuff Girls stage, but there's a lot of references to Powerpuff Girls villains in the background. We see Mojo Jojo's tower, and you can actually see Mojo Jojo himself flying around in his little spaceship. You can see him on the face of the clock tower, and you can see a big building that has a crown on it that is a reference to Princess Morbucks. So again, multiple Powerpuff Girls villains referenced on this stage. There is also a kind of Asian-looking building in the background that can be seen, and some people are thinking, oh, that could be a reference to Samurai Jack. I mean, Samurai Jack does have some sort of overlap with Powerpuff Girls. I even think that the talking dog sign that's seen in this stage is also, I think, shown in Samurai Jack at one point. There's some theories about Samurai Jack being in the future of the Powerpuff Girls world when it's all destroyed. But anyway, this tower with Asian architecture is actually, I think, just a reference to, I believe it's called Little Tokyo in Powerpuff Girls, not a reference directly to Samurai Jack. Also, briefly during this Townsville segment, we see Dexter's glove and glasses. We, of course, know the Dexter's Lab stage is happening, but could this be a reference to Dexter himself happening as a playable character at some point? We'll have to wait and see. Moving forward, we go to the Teen Titans Tower, another potential future stage, and looking out into the distance, you can see some pretty interesting stuff. There is a large statue of Aquaman out in the water there, and again, we already had the trident come out of the WB water tower. We now have a statue of Aquaman, so yeah, Aquaman definitely being hinted at in this launch trailer. And not only is our view from the Titan Tower, but you can also see the big H building that is the Hive headquarters. Hive being the rival villain team for the Teen Titans. We, of course, see multiple Wonder Woman skins here, and Wonder Woman's fighting her skin, so this is clearly showing that MultiVersus is going to have multiples of the same character, all fighting each other in whatever their, storyline is. Characters are being pulled from all sorts of timelines and different dimensions and stuff to all battle. But even more interesting is all the stuff in the backgrounds of this Teen Titans stage section of the video, and it's mostly references to Teen Titans Go specifically. So I do believe the Teen Titans stage will almost certainly be a Teen Titans Go stage. Whether the Teen Titan characters we could get eventually will be Go themed or not, I do think the stage will be, simply because this trailer shows so much of this stage being Go themed. So first up, of course, you can see Robin's face, the Teen Titans Go Robin's face, above the door in the background of the stage. We also see another picture of Robin alongside Batman. It's Batman themed in the Teen Titans Go style, but there's a picture of that on a table in the background. And right next to that picture is a Green Lantern. So obviously Green Lantern being hinted at here. I think there was a Green Lantern shown in a much earlier trailer from over a year ago in the background of one of the videos. But yeah, Green Lantern referenced here, another big DC superhero. So yeah, most likely Green Lantern at some point will be getting some content in MultiVersus. Also in the background in the shadows, you can see Silky, which is Starfire's pet, so Starfire referenced here directly. And you can also see a Pretty Pegasus box, and that is something that Raven really likes in Teen Titans Go. I think it's sort of a joke about her voice actress voicing characters in My Little Pony as well as Raven. And then there's also some plushies. One is Batman, the other one is like a Pig Robin. It was really hard to tell exactly what this was. I thought maybe it could be a reference to Porky Pig, because Porky Pig is sometimes dressed as Robin. Here's a Funko Pop of that. But then it was pointed out to me that this is actually a direct reference to something in Teen Titans Go, which is Starfire's bedroom. Starfire's bedroom actually has that plushie of like a pig or mouse or something Robin on her bed. She also has a disco ball, which is also seen in this trailer. So yeah, there's actually quite a few Starfire references here, not just Raven and Robin, who I keep hearing people talk about as being referenced here. We have Silky, the disco ball, and this plushie are all references directly to Starfire. Rick then shows up out of a portal, and we see some more Raven references. We have this, like, pentagram written on the wall and all this, like, goth stuff. So, yeah, definitely a Raven reference on the Teen Titans Go stage here. And Rick actually talks in this trailer with brand new lines. So yes, it has been confirmed that both Rick and Morty will be having their new voice actors from the show who replaced Justin Roiland, voicing them in MultiVersus with brand new dialogue. Very excited and happy to hear that they're getting these new voice actors for the characters. And we're not just going to get reused lines from the show, recycled lines. Instead, it's going to be brand new lines from the new voice actors who are fantastic as Rick and Morty, in my opinion. Rick then makes a portal and leaves the Teen Titans Go stage and goes to a bunch of other stages and other, franchises that are in MultiVersus. And there's some interesting hints in the background of those stages. When he's on the Adventure Time Treefort stage, you can clearly see Marceline's axe, her, guitar bass in the background. So direct reference to Marceline, who's almost certainly coming to MultiVersus at some point. And then when he goes through the Scooby-Doo stage, a little less of a direct hint because it's kind of just a Scooby-Doo in general reference. But there is a box of Scooby snacks, so potentially a reference to Scooby-Doo, who again, we have already seen a model for during that NHL Hockey League thing, driving around in the Mystery Machine with Velma and Shaggy. So yeah, potentially this is a direct reference to Scooby-Doo himself. We then get to the Game of Thrones stage with Joker on the Iron Throne, which I thought was really cool. And there is like a big Lannister stained glass window, so potentially that could be a hint towards like Tyrion or Jaime Lannister, but personally I think it's just the stage itself. And then of course we get our two new characters who are villain characters, Jason Voorhees and Agent Smith. Now, some people have been taking, since this season seems to be a villain season, here's Asol calling it a puns and villainy season. That's apparently our tag for season 1. And with this ending with the Joker having a bunch of portals appear, 4 portals specifically, next to Jason and Agent Smith, as if more villains are coming to fight the heroes. Some people have been thinking we'll get 4 more villains in this season. I don't personally buy into that. I think this was just a way to end the trailer with like, hey, more villains are to come, and just an interesting, heroes versus villains theme. I don't think we're necessarily going to get a bunch more villains, specifically 4 more, because we saw 4 more portals here. Coming to MultiVersus in Season 1. I'm not personally subscribing to that, though I've seen some people speculating about it. And then, of course, we get a big lineup of all the characters at the end, and Morty looking real, just absolutely traumatized. I love this look for Morty at the end screen here. But there you go. That was the launch trailer. I believe that was all the major Easter eggs in the background. There could maybe be a couple I missed that were really minor, but I think that's everything that was hinted at in the launch trailer. Alright, so with Agent Smith confirmed in that launch trailer, we actually have confirmation that reading into some images that Player First Games posted over on Twitter wasn't such a bad idea. Player First Games put out a bunch of images when Banana Guard happened of the staff holding up bananas as sort of a joke, but in those images we could see that they had banners that had like the Matrix code symbols all over them. So even before Agent Smith got leaked from that YouTube video tag, people were thinking, hey, maybe a Matrix character could happen for MultiVersus. There's also a poster for the Watchmen movie, so we were also speculating, hey, maybe a Watchmen character could happen. So since we weren't so off on the Matrix stuff, maybe we're not so off on the Watchmen stuff. However, last video, I also failed to notice, though it was pointed out to me afterwards, that that wasn't the only things referenced on these images. We, of course, have Matrix and Watchmen, but also John Tobias, the co-creator of Mortal Kombat, is sitting there in Player First Games. So he's clearly like either working on the game or came to visit for some reason. So potentially a Mortal Kombat character could be happening. These images might actually be hinting at that. And then Ed Boon, the other co-creator of Mortal Kombat, tweeted out, MultiVersus relaunches in a week, Tuesday, May 28th. So yeah, we have Ed Boon and John Tobias both being at least very aware of MultiVersus, one of them actually showing up at Player First Games offices for some reason. So highly likely that a Mortal Kombat character could potentially be coming to MultiVersus. Before I was saying, like a year ago, that there was some issues negotiating that they wanted to do a Mortal Kombat character, but that NetherRealm Studio was actually asking for too much control over the character. So maybe John Tobias said, hey, I'll just come over and, work alongside you guys to make sure we get the character right or something like that. Who knows, but I do think a Mortal Kombat character coming to MultiVersus, especially now that we have someone like Jason Voorhees, who's, a horror movie icon and very graphic and definitely, more of an adult character. A Mortal Kombat character being toned down a bit for MultiVersus, I think it could definitely happen. And with Ed Boon and John Tobias both having links to MultiVersus here, either retweeting it or actually showing up in the office, yeah, I think that's probably something that we'll see eventually. All right, and now let's go over everything that's happened since that launch trailer. We also got this weirdo in a mask Jason Voorhees gameplay trailer that had a cool cinematic reveal for the character. So Banana Guard didn't get a cinematic reveal, but Jason both got the launch trailer reveal and his own little side, kind of reveal trailer, which was pretty cool. They also revealed he does have a Jason X costume here. Tony was talking about something in space, which I believe was a reference to this. Afterwards, he said sleeping bag was a must and space was a must. So I do believe his earlier tweet about space was indeed about Jason Voorhees and the Jason X costume. Jason's voice actor was revealed and its menacing sound effects, which is just hilarious. I love that. And we got Jason's card revealed. He is a tank class character, and there's some of his moves. Pretty cool looking. I love these cards. I love the official artwork. I hope we get more of these for all the characters. And here's that character select screen we saw before from the PvE trailer video, but without the blanked out spots. So Banana Guard and Jason Voorhees filling those spots. This is most likely what our character select screen is going to look like at launch. Okay, and then some other things that we got revealed over on like Twitter with videos and stuff. We got the Dexter's Laboratory stage shown off. It has two versions, one for casual, one for competitive play. We already had spotted Dee in the background and Monkey in the background, but the computer in the background also does some pretty interesting stuff. It says Omelette du Fromage, a reference to one of the best Dexter episodes, and then it also has this interesting string of code that says Dexter in-game, PFG, Player First Games, .dexter please. So it's kind of like the computer or the stage itself is asking us to please, get Dexter in the game, playable as a character. So hopefully that's a reference to Dexter happening eventually here, even though we're getting the laboratory itself as a stage first. And then we also had the City of Townsville stage shown off, and this one has, of course, Mojo Jojo on it, which we already knew, but now we know Mojo Jojo is actually voiced. So Mojo Jojo has been officially revealed to be voiced by Roger L. Jackson. So yeah, confirmed by MultiVersus, we do have Mojo Jojo's voice actor here. If you look really closely in the Townsville stage, you can also see Miss Bellum in the windows of the mayor's office. So that's another very subtle reference here, kind of like Dee and Monkey being in the background of the Dexter stage in silhouette. Now, we have yet to have the water tower, the WB water tower stage, shown off in one of these videos. Maybe that'll happen today. Maybe that'll be out by the time I even get this video out. Who knows? Day before the game comes out. We did see this, follow the trail to the Warner lot. So it does seem like the WB water tower will be in the game. So maybe they'll show that off today in a video. I don't know. It's not out yet, though, as of the point of me making this video, which is the day before the game launches. And then before I dive into all the stuff from like the reviewers and the people who got early access to MultiVersus, the relaunch MultiVersus here or whatever, and all the stuff we learned from that footage, just a few interesting tweets and stuff from Tony. Of course, we had that space tweet about Jason, and that obviously turned out to be Jason X, but there were a few other ones. He did one about Banana Guard and Leonidas from 300. Now, I don't think this is actually a reference to like something 300 getting in MultiVersus. He basically says as much in the tweet, just sort of a neat meme he wanted to tweet out. But 300 is the same director as Watchmen, and of course we saw that Watchmen poster in the Player First Games headquarters. So yeah, I don't know, just interesting he has 300 on his mind anyway. When Tony did tweet out that thing about starting to like space, Nakat said, "I love space, let me tell you about the red planet." So I don't know if that's a reference to like Marvin being from Mars, or maybe the red being blood and like Jason's just, you know, a bloody character, the red planet. I don't know, but it's an interesting response to the I'm starting to like space tweet from Tony. Tony also did an interview in which he said he'd love to get Walter White in the game, and he'll do everything he can to try to make it happen, but does say that it is harder to get third-party characters. It's all about negotiations and stuff, so no promises. But he will be pushing as hard as he can to try to make it happen for the fans. So that would be really cool. Some hope for Walter White out there. Actually, lots of interesting stuff from interviews with Tony that is out there, some of which talking about why the game had to shut down and what happened before, where they got kind of overwhelmed with a small team and not having enough content to put out quick enough and everything, but saying now that they do have a bigger team, they have apparently a better planned schedule for the future for characters and releases and everything. So that's all what I really wanted them to get. That's what I really think this game needs: a steady pace, a planned schedule for these battle passes and what's going to happen for this game. So hopefully that's what they have ready over the last year. That's what they've been getting ready, let's hope. And Tony seems to be saying that is exactly what they've been doing, and that's exactly what they have ready for us. So fingers crossed that's what we get, and that this game really thrives, and that the pace and everything of releasing characters and releasing content is just nice and steady and works. And then Tony's not the only one putting some interesting stuff out there. Ajax on Twitter put a few tweets out that, if you look at the capitalized letters, actually spell out some interesting stuff. If you put all of their tweets together, it says, "We are the Crystal Gems," which is, of course, a Steven Universe reference. So, yeah, potentially something Steven Universe they're hinting at here. I don't know what it could be, but yeah, they've capitalized some specific letters, and they're spelling out, "We are the Crystal Gems." If you look at multiple tweets with the capitalized letters, interesting stuff. Who knows? Ajax also spelled out Dexter in a past tweet before I think we got the Dexter's Lab stage shown off. So yeah, they are known to do this with capitalized letters. Nakat also put, "Sharp like an edge of a samurai sword, the metal blade cuts through flesh and bone," which is a reference to actually Samurai Champloo, or the opening title theme song to Samurai Champloo, though this might actually be referencing simply Samurai Jack. I love Samurai Champloo though, so if we got like Mugen or Jin in MultiVersus, I'd be very happy to see that, but I think this is probably just a reference to Samurai Jack. If, of course, it's a reference to anything. All right, now let's go over some of the new stuff we saw in the gameplay footage we've seen of the game for people who had early access. So the game now has these spawn platforms for when, you get knocked off the stage and you come back on. Really great new addition. They completely have gotten rid of the support role for MultiVersus. So Steven is now a tank, Gizmo, Velma, and Raindog are now mages, so there's no longer a support class. And a lot of what I've seen hasn't been 2v2 stuff, so I'm wondering if the game is kind of dropping that focus on 2v2, which of course the support class worked really well for, without having the game focused on 2v2 matches. Having a character who's all about supporting the partner character doesn't really make as much sense. One thing I thought was pretty funny is that when you select the Black Adam character, usually it's he's labeled as villainous, but when you choose the the skin that is the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson skin from the movie, it switches it to heroic. And I know there's a lot of stuff out there about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson being really picky about his character roles, and that like he can't lose in a movie, he can't be seen to lose, and all this stuff. Probably goes back to his wrestling days, when that sort of thing is really important to a wrestling character. What is who they lose, or if they're seen as a villain or not, or whatever. But it's just really funny to see that tagline actually changes to heroic only for that skin. When it's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he has to be a hero. He can't possibly be playing a villain. And then over on Twitter, we have Shaggy Leaks showing off a bunch of the Rift mode stuff. We got Jason vs. MultiVersus here. Looks like there's 6 of them, ending with a tutorial one. And then we've seen a bunch of new skins as well. We have a non-magic Jake the Dog skin, which is just hilarious looking. I don't know how that's going to look when he's transforming, but really funny skin. We got Beach Bash Harley Quinn. We got some Taz as dressed as a girl. We have this biker looking Stripe. We have Velma in the Joker t-shirt, which I think we've already seen. And we have Velma in this like explorer outfit, and this was actually something a fan suggested a long time ago. So really cool to see that fans demanding a certain skin actually got that skin in the game. Very cool thing to see. I love that Player First Games MultiVersus is taking fan demand into account very heavily. Really cool to see when it actually pays off. And that might not be the only fan thing that got into MultiVersus. There was a theory out there about Raindog possibly being the one who's summoning everyone into MultiVersus, and that seems to be confirmed by some dialogue we saw. So I don't know if fans were just, really observant and realized, hey, Raindog's probably pulling everyone in, and that theory was always going to be what, was happening. Raindog was always summoning all the other heroes, or if this fan theory got out there and Player First Games decided, hey, that's a good idea, and added it into the game. Who knows, but that does appear to be what we're getting for the storyline of MultiVersus, that Raindog does, in fact, summon the characters into, the game. Here's Steven in a suit, probably other costumes that are out there, but there you go. There's a bunch of costumes for characters looking like they're in the Matrix, like all green and stuff. I think probably every character will be getting that. I've seen quite a few. And of course, if you really observe it, there's some new banners, there's some new ring outs, lots of stuff was seen in that early access footage that's been floating around the last couple days. I will also add that the UI for the game, I think, looks much better. And when you go online, it appears you have to actually lock into your character before you go online and play matches. So there's no more playing one opening match against someone, beating them and being like, yeah, I got them. And then all of a sudden they pull out their high-leveled other character and they just crush you the next two matches. Looks like you really have to lock into the character beforehand, which I think is the better option here. And speaking of that dialogue where it basically confirmed that Raindog is pulling everyone into the game, the characters talk during the Rift mode, or at least they have a icon of the character with word bubbles anyway, but there's some sort of storyline, there's some actual dialogue and stuff like that being written for Rift mode, so that's pretty cool in my opinion. Looking through like the battle pass and events and everything, this did pop up that seems to say something about Agent Smith happening until the 18th of July. So I don't know when Agent Smith is going to be available to players, if it's going to be from a short time window where you can get him through playing or something. I have no idea, but Agent Smith with something to do with July 18th. We've seen the full Battle Pass, and the Season 1 Battle Pass seems to go up to 70, and you get a bunch of stuff right at the start. You get Jason immediately, which is really cool. This screen is saying you will immediately unlock 11 rewards and 10 tiers. Jason is the very first thing in the Battle Pass. I think that'd be pretty cool going forward if they give us new characters as the first thing you unlock in the Battle Pass. I don't know, pretty interesting. I don't want to get too into how the Battle Pass functions until I actually am playing the game, get my hands on it, and know for certain, because I'd hate to say something that's just wrong about it. But a lot of information has come out about the Battle Pass, and it does seem like, we're getting currency in the Battle Pass, probably playing the Battle Pass. You'll be able to buy the next one if you finish it. Stuff like that, much better than what we had in the beta version of MultiVersus. Here's a tweet that says, additionally, all returning players who log in will receive a special edition Snowsuit Finn commemorative character variant, a special edition Rising Stars ring out, and a special edition Banana Guard announcer pack. Again, I don't want to get too into the currency and stuff like that in case I'm wrong about it. I don't want to give you guys misinformation, but there is some stuff out there, what Player First Games and MultiVersus tweeted out. Returning players should be getting the Battle Pass for free anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much right here at the start. But it seems like the Battle Pass costs about 950 Gleamium, and again, you can earn Gleamium in-game. I think there's about 5,050 Gleamium on the table from what it looks like. Again, I don't want to get too specific with the currency stuff until I get the game in my hands and know for certain. 5,050 Gleamium being if you max out all the characters and play through the Battle Pass and stuff like that. They also said something about returning players, how much gold you have will give you some rewards and stuff. So if you played MultiVersus in the past, just log in. You'll get the Battle Pass for free. You'll probably get some more free cosmetic stuff like that Snowsuit Finn, and you'll probably get even some more stuff for how much gold you had and how much you played last time. So yeah, definitely just jump back into the game and see what you get, because I feel like they're giving out a lot of stuff. Not only will you get stuff simply for jumping back into the game, but also if you tune into your favorite streamers on Twitch between May 28th and June 5th, you can earn some exclusive stuff such as 100 Gleamium, a new banner, and a beach volleyball garnet skin. So that's a really easy thing to do. Go watch a streamer on Twitch who's doing MultiVersus stuff, and you can easily earn some stuff for the game. Give some of those content creators some watch time on Twitch and earn yourself some stuff for MultiVersus. It's a win-win for everybody. I don't stream very often on Twitch, so it doesn't bother me if you go watch someone on Twitch to try to get those rewards. Watching for 30 minutes apparently gets you the Presently Shocked banner, 60 minutes the 100 Gleamium, and 90 minutes the beach volleyball garnet skin. So that's an hour and a half just having Twitch on in the background can earn you some cool stuff in MultiVersus. There's also a launch party tomorrow for MultiVersus with more giveaway stuff. So yeah, check all that stuff out tomorrow. Again, the game relaunches at 7 a.m. EST. I think it's going to kind of slowly take players into the game as they open up in waves. So who knows when you'll actually get in. I'm going to try to get in right away, but we'll see. I'll try to stream it potentially tomorrow as well. But yeah, there you go. Lots of stuff happening for the relaunch of MultiVersus tomorrow. All right, and then before I end out this video, I just figured I'd show you guys my updated speculation image here, the kind of leaked characters, data mine characters, and all the other stuff. So I've added a hinted at in relaunch trailer list of characters, which includes the Powerpuff Girls, Marceline, Samurai Jack, Aquaman, Wicked Witch of the West, a Harry Potter character, Raven, Daffy Duck, Dexter, Scooby-Doo, Robin, Green Lantern, the Animaniacs, Starfire, Shazam, and Blue Beetle. Now, some of these I'm a little less sure of as being hinted at, such as Shazam and Blue Beetle really only being the WB logos at the beginning of the trailer. I'm very 50-50 about the Wicked Witch or a Harry Potter character being what the broom is for, leaning more towards Wicked Witch, but whatever. Harry Potter character was already something I had heard they wanted to do for the game, WB wanted them to make for the game, so either way, I still think, that's worth having as a hinted character here, whether that broom ends up being for Wicked Witch or a Harry Potter character. Obviously, anything that has overlap between the data mine characters, leaked characters, and hinted at in relaunch characters are probably the characters to keep your eye on the most. Those are the characters that we have probably the most evidence for. So if you see Samurai Jack in all three of those categories, I'd say, he's pretty darn likely. You have like Powerpuff Girls and Marceline overlapping with leaked characters and being hinted at in the relaunch trailer. Again, feels like those characters are almost locks at this point. It's just a matter of when we finally actually get to see them. And then moving over to the right side of this image, the characters that are in limbo could happen. Like Gandalf could just randomly happen if they get the negotiation rights. A Mortal Kombat character also could just happen if the negotiation rights are going well, which if John Tobias is in their studio, probably is. So something like that could happen and surprise us before the leaked characters or characters we've been hinted at, stuff like that. I added a little category for the Player First Games office photos. So John Tobias being there and that Watchmen poster. Since we did get a Matrix character in Agent Smith, seems like looking at the Player First Games office photos for hints is a good way to potentially guess at, future characters. The category for Echo Fighters is still here, though whether or not they go through with characters as Echo Fighters or just make them skins now, that was something they seemed to be on the fence about what they were going to do right before they went on hiatus with this game, if they were going to give us Echo Fighters or not. So that's still kind of an up-in-the-air thing. Will they just be skins? Will we actually get Echo Fighters? Who knows, but they're still on here. And then the final two, the 60-plus character list, just a list of characters Player First Games has in their office, just considering. Doesn't mean they're definitely making them, doesn't mean they're not going to make them, just characters they could potentially make. And then characters that have been suggested by random devs. That's just characters that have been talked about by developers in Player First Games that I'm aware of. That list is probably almost infinite if I really knew every character that's been thrown out there. So the 60-plus character list and the suggested by random devs list, probably less likely characters to definitely get anytime soon there. It's just characters we know they've talked about at least. So yeah, if you're doing your own speculation at home, I'd say the leaked characters and the hinted at and relaunch trailer characters and the data mine characters are probably the ones to really look at, and then everything else is a little more questionable, a little more speculative. But the leaked characters, the hinted at relaunch trailer characters, data mine characters, if there's any overlap between those, it's probably just a matter of time. And then, of course, I have some of the leaked characters blocked out. A character from DC, character from Cartoon Network, and I just did 2 more spots, but that's really just a placeholder for further characters that I have heard about leaked, but I haven't said anything about. So yeah, character from DC, character from Cartoon Network, basically a given anyway. I think everybody knows that we'll get further DC characters, further Cartoon Network characters, but I've heard other names too, so yeah, it's just kind of an infinite, it goes on for more potentially leaked characters I've heard. I'm just not saying who they are. All right, okay, that should get us caught up with everything speculation-wise right before the relaunch of MultiVersus. I can't wait till it relaunches tomorrow. Like I said, I'll probably try to stream it, though I don't know if I'm going to be able to get in right at 7 a.m. EST or not, because they said they're going to let people in waves, so who knows what's going to happen with all that, but I'm very excited to play the game tomorrow at some point. If you guys have any thoughts or comments about any of the stuff I talked about in this video, feel free to leave a comment below.
Remember to like the video, leave a comment in the section below, and subscribe to Papa Gino's
Twitter, Patreon, Discord, Twitch.